The Wasp Factory. Chapter 5. A Bunch of Flowers. Part 5. What? What are you talking about? Eric's voice said suddenly, close to the phone again. I swallowed, smiled once more at my father, whose eyes seemed to have narrowed slightly. You remember, Jamie, getting a shot of Willie's Mini? I really must get Dad here. I hissed those two words to get me an old car I could drive on the sands. You're talking crap. I've never driven anybody's car on the sands. You've forgotten who I am again, Eric said, still not listening to what I was saying. I turned away from looking down at my father and faced into the corner, sighing mightily and whispering, "Oh my God," to myself, away from the mouthpiece. Yes, that's right, Jamie. I continued hopelessly. That brother of mine is still making his way here as far as I can tell. Me and Dad here are hoping he's all right. You little bastard, you're talking as though I'm not even here. Christ, I hate when people do that. You wouldn't do that to me, would you? Oh, would you, Meal Flame? His voice went away again, and I heard doggy noises, puppy noises. Come to think of it, over the phone, I was starting to sweat. I heard footsteps in the hall below, then the kitchen light click off. The footsteps came again, and then started up the stairs. I turned around quickly, smiled at my father as he approached. Well, there you go, Jamie, I said pathetically, drying up metaphorically as well as literally. Don't spend too long on the phone, my father said as he passed me and continued up the stairs. Right, Dad, I shouted merrily, beginning to experience an ache somewhere near my bladder that I sometimes get when things are going particularly badly and I can't see my way out. I jerked the phone away from my ear and stared into it for a second. I couldn't decide whether Eric or the dog made the noise. Hello? Hello? I whispered feverishly, glancing up to see Father's shadow leave the wall on the floor above. How-wow! Came a scream down the line. I shook and flinched. My God, what was he doing to the animal? Then the receiver clunked. I heard a shout like a curse, and the phone rattled again. The phone rattled and crashed again. You little bastard. Arg, fuck, shit. Came back, you little hello, Eric? Frank? Hello? What's happening? I hissed, glancing up the stairs for shadows crouching at the phone and covering up my mouth with my free hand. Hello? There was a clatter. Then that was your fault, shouted That was your fault, shouted close to the handset. Then another crash. I could hear vague noises for a bit, but even straining, I couldn't make out what they were. And they could have been just noises on the line. I wondered whether I should put the phone down and was about to do so. Eric's voice came again, muttering something I couldn't make out. Hello? What? I said. Still there, eh? I lost the little bastard. That was your fault. Christ, what's the use of you? I'm sorry, I said genuinely. Too bloody late now. Bit me, the little shit. I'll catch it again, though, bastard. The pips went. I heard more money being put in. I suppose you're glad, aren't you? Glad what? Glad the goddamn dog got away, asshole. What, me? I stalled. You aren't trying to tell me you're sorry it got away, are you? You did it on purpose, Eric shouted. You did it on purpose. You wanted it to get away. You won't let me play with anything. You'd rather the dog enjoyed itself than me. You shit, you rotten bastard. Ha! I laughed unconvincingly. Well, thanks for calling, Frank. Goodbye. I slammed down I slammed the receiver down and stood for a second, congratulating myself on how well I had done, all things considered. I wiped my brow, which had become a little sweaty, and took a last look up the shadowless wall above. I shook my head and trudged up the stairs. I got as far as the top step on that flight when the phone went again. I froze. If I answered it, but if I didn't, and Father did, I ran back down, picked it up, heard the coins go in, then bastard, followed by a series of deafening crashes as plastic met metal and glass. I closed my eyes and listened to the cracks and smashes until one especially loud hump ended in a low buzz telephones don't usually make. Then I put the phone down again, turned, looked upward, I set wearily off back up the stairs. I lay in bed. Soon I would have to try some long-range fixing of this problem. It was the only way I'd have to try to influence things through the root cause of it all. Old Saul himself. Some heavy medicine was required if Eric wasn't to wreck single-handedly the entire Scottish telephone network and decimate the country's canine population first, though. I would have to consult the factory again. It wasn't exactly my fault, but I was totally involved, and I might just be able to do something about it. With the skull of the ancient hound, where am I? Oh, the factory's help and a little luck. How susceptible my brother would be to whatever vibes I could send out was a question I didn't like too much to think about, given the state of his head, but I had to do something. I hoped the little puppy had gotten well away. Damn it, I didn't hold all dogs to blame for what had happened. Old Saul was the culprit. Old Saul had gone down in our history and my personal mythology as the castrator. But thanks to the little creatures who flew the creek, I had him in my power now. Eric was crazy, all right. Even if he was my brother, he was lucky to have somebody sane who still liked him.